Welcome to my next tutorial, and today we shall continue in the series of trying to consider some very basic concept in machine learning stroke deep learning. Very basic but very important concept uh, to be able to understand what happens in machine learning stroke deep learning. Uh, in the building of a model or network architecture. So today we'll be looking at features, what commonly is also referred to as feature columns. If you look at the previous videos, we use this example here where you have x and you have y, and x is the input like we said and y is the output. And so if you take for instance a data set that has just one particular feature, and it's called that feature or the feature column, it has just one feature, so that's just one input, and that is x. So I'm thinking, for instance, if you are looking at um, let's say a typical example, maybe in classifying somebody as in classifying uh, somebody as uh, uh, maybe an adult or uh, a kid. So if that is the problem definition, something that is very intuitive would be to use like height and say height. And so if you look at the height as the feature, so it's easy for you to be able to easily classify the adult from a kid. Okay, so in this case, that feature height is uh, just one feature to our problem definition of classifying whether somebody is an adult or the person is a kid. So that's an example of a problem that has just one feature. That feature is sufficient enough to be able to classify, to be able to solve the problem. There are other problems out there where you will see that they actually have multiple features. So when they have multiple features, you want to represent each of the feature by a subscript. So like for instance, in this second case, we say it has three features. So it has three features, and you use the three features together to be able to predict an outcome. So that is for when you have something like a linear regression problem where you are predicting a continuous value. Okay, it could also be in a logistic regression problem where you are predicting a categorical value, the class in which uh, you want to classify that particular data instance. So commonly you group all those features together and put them as a big X, where each of them is just X consists is a set of all the features. Okay. Moving on, you also have this concept of feature columns in images, but it's subtle to actually be able to pick out what are the x1, x2, what are the features here. Now, when you take an image of a cat, for instance, and you do like an imread Python library to convert it into its number representation in pixel format, say 4 by 4 pixel this way, which is like what we refer to as multi-dimensional array. So each of these pixel becomes a feature. So each of these becomes a feature in terms of image. When you get into in terms of a text, for instance, we have a word like I love, sentence like I love teaching, and you're trying to do a sentiment analysis or sentence classification, and you use a word to vec or glob to take each of these words and get a column representation, a word embedding of each of the word. If you are using a word embedding of size 30, which is you have 30 columns, 30 uh, values in your vector, in your word vector. So each of the values represent what you refer to as a feature. So in this case, you are going to have 30 features. So it's important to note that each of these features is like what you have in a Cartesian product, in a Cartesian graph or plane, where you have your x-axis and y-axis to be able to locate the position of a particular point in a plane. So for you to locate the position of a particular point in a plane, you want, if it's a two-dimensional plane, you want the value of the x and the value of the y to be able to create. Such is referred to as a tuple. Okay, because you need the two values of x and y to be able to represent the point. Just like you have in latitude and longitude, to represent the geographic location of a particular object, you need the latitude and the longitude, and that is, each of those constitute the feature to be able to locate an object. I hope this helps to clarify things. Thank you very much, and do let us know what your opinion is if it has helped in any way. Thank you.